Lewis Hamilton again out in the first part of qualifying. Hamilton has no right of reply. He's out in the first part of qualifying again.
Lewis Hamilton didn't just join Ferrari, he walked straight into a nightmare nobody warned him about. Within weeks, the 7-time world champion went from the savior of Maranello to a man fighting for his sanity on team radio. By the Qatar Grand Prix, the cracks weren't just showing, they were splitting the entire dream apart.
Don't know how we made the car worse.
And here's the scary part. Ferrari didn't break Hamilton slowly like they did Vettel, Alonso, or Leclerc. No, they did it fast, brutally fast. Almost like the team was cursed. This is the story of how the greatest driver of a generation stepped into Formula One's most iconic team and nearly lost everything in record time. When Hamilton arrived at Ferrari, the expectations were unreal. New era, new hope, new championship talk before the engines even fired. But the moment the season started, it became obvious. Ferrari wasn't ready for Hamilton, and Hamilton wasn't ready for Ferrari.
Charge button on.
Yeah, no problem. Just don't repeat everything, please.
Understood.
His struggles didn't build slowly. They hit instantly. Australia, China, Miami. Every race was another reminder that Ferrari is the only team on Earth capable of looking fast, sounding confident, and still collapsing like a badly coded F1 game mod. In Australia, Hamilton fought the car more than the actual grid. In China, he finally found pace in the sprint, only for Ferrari to change the setup overnight and turn the car into a shopping cart with the wheels locked.
Made a couple of changes, but nothing major, and the car was really hard to drive. It just didn't.
By Miami, he was smiling on camera but dying inside. Finishing behind cars Ferrari fans didn't even consider rivals. Every glimmer of hope was snuffed out by strategy errors, setup miscalculations, or just pure chaos. This wasn't a slump. It was the Ferrari initiation ritual, harsher and faster than anyone expected. By mid-season, the honeymoon was over. Hamilton's early optimism had collided with the harsh reality of Ferrari. What started as minor setbacks turned into a pattern of frustration that no driver, no matter how talented, could ignore. Qualifying sessions were a nightmare. Tracks where he should have been in the top 5 saw him slipping down the order.
Hamilton has no right of reply. He's out in the first part of qualifying again.
Even when he managed flashes of brilliance, like a sprint win in China, they never translated into race success. Every small triumph was snatched away by strategy errors, setup miscalculations, or unpredictable car behavior. It wasn't just the car. The mental toll of fighting a machine that refused to cooperate began to show.
This car, it's like someone that can't dance. That's someone that has no rhythm, you know? So it's like trying to get someone that doesn't have rhythm to have rhythm. It's like, it's very difficult.
Hamilton, who once commanded races with precision, was now constantly on edge, questioning every decision and every move on track. By mid-season, Hamilton wasn't just struggling against other teams. He was struggling against Ferrari itself. And every fan watching knew, if things didn't change, this nightmare wasn't going to end anytime soon. Hamilton's mid-season struggles weren't just bad luck. They were built into the very car he was driving. Ferrari's 2025 F1 machine looked sleek and fast on paper, but on track it was unpredictable, unstable, and often outright unmanageable. The car struggled with balance. High downforce corners were tricky. Low grip tracks were a nightmare. Even small setup changes could make things worse instead of better. Hamilton himself admitted that sometimes the car just doesn't have the pace. Not because he was slow, but because Ferrari's development decisions left him fighting physics more than rivals. And it wasn't only the hardware. Ferrari's strategy team had a habit of overcomplicating race calls. Pit stops that should have been simple became chaos. Setup tweaks from one session to the next often turned the car into something almost undrivable. Off-track, morale issues compounded the problem. Mid-season, Ferrari deliberately paused major updates on the 2025 car to focus on next year's model. For Hamilton, that meant driving a car that wasn't evolving while competitors were constantly improving. Frustration mounted with every lap, every race, every lost position. In short, Hamilton wasn't just fighting other drivers. He was fighting the car, the setup, and the very structure of Ferrari itself. And as the season hurtled toward Qatar, it became clear that these issues weren't temporary. They were systemic. By the time the Qatar Grand Prix arrived, Hamilton's season had already been a constant battle. But nothing prepared him, or Ferrari fans, for what happened on that weekend. Qualifying was a disaster. Hamilton struggled through Q1, ending up in P18, the worst qualifying result of his career at Ferrari. A car that once demanded respect now seemed almost uncontrollable. Sprint race day offered no redemption. Setup changes meant to fix the issues backfired, leaving him starting from the pit lane and fighting a car that bounced unpredictably and understeered like it had a mind of its own. Hamilton didn't hide his frustration. Radio messages were sharp, tense, and full of disbelief.
What a shit race this is, mate.
Yeah.
On track, every corner became a struggle, every overtake a test of patience and skill. The car lacked pace, the strategy lacked clarity. And the results? A dismal P17 finish, a weekend so brutal it felt like a microcosm of his entire season. Even Leclerc, his teammate, had his own battles, yet still managed to extract marginally better performance from the same machinery. Qatar wasn't just another bad weekend. It was the moment Hamilton's frustration turned into stark reality. The dream move to Ferrari had collided with chaos, and the cracks in the team were now impossible to ignore. Hamilton's struggles at Ferrari aren't just a personal story. They're a reflection of the challenges the team faces as a whole. For a driver of his caliber, every lost race, every underperforming car, and every chaotic strategy call is magnified. And for Ferrari, these mid-season struggles highlight a deeper issue. Their systems, decisions, and development approach are still inconsistent, even with one of the world's greatest drivers behind the wheel. For Hamilton, this season could redefine his legacy. Winning championships at Mercedes was about precision, dominance, and predictability. Ferrari demands a different kind of skill: patience, adaptation, and navigating a team that often seems to be its own worst enemy. If he can overcome these challenges, it will cement his status as not just a champion, but a driver capable of thriving in chaos. For the broader F1 landscape, this has shaken the hierarchy. Rivals see an opportunity. Teams like Red Bull, Mercedes, and McLaren are now racing against a Ferrari that isn't firing on all cylinders. Meanwhile, Hamilton's battles in mid-pack show that even the best can struggle when the machinery and strategy don't align. And for fans, the story is both thrilling and terrifying. One of the sport's all-time greats, trapped in the red vortex, fighting not just for wins, but for relevance, control, and the mental clarity that made him unstoppable. Lewis Hamilton's time at Ferrari has been nothing short of a roller coaster, a season where every expectation collided with harsh reality. From the first races to the Qatar Grand Prix, we've seen flashes of brilliance shadowed by frustration, strategy blunders, and a car that refuses to cooperate. Yet even in the chaos, Hamilton's talent shines through. Pockets of performance, battles won despite overwhelming odds, and the sheer will to keep fighting remind us why he's one of the greatest drivers in F1 history. This isn't the story of a driver who gave up. It's the story of a driver battling a system, a team, and the unexpected limits of even a champion's control. Ferrari may continue to struggle, the car may continue to frustrate, and the season may not unfold as fans hoped. But Hamilton's journey shows the mental toughness required to survive, and maybe even thrive, in Formula One's most unforgiving environment. So, as the season moves forward, one question remains. Can Lewis Hamilton turn this struggle into triumph, or will Ferrari's chaos continue to define him? Only time, and the next race weekend, will tell.